Hola chicos, today we are going to discuss one more tense of the subjunctive mode in Spanish, and it is el pretérito perfecto de subjuntivo. Sounds complicated, but it's not. All right, so who is going to help us with this lesson? It's el capitán Topo, the Captain Mole. So we're going to see a little bit the story of his life, and he will help us to understand that tense. So please make sure that you do not get stressed out with the big names of the grammatical concepts in this lesson. You can understand the concept without them. But I suggest that you learn all the complicated, supposedly complicated names of the grammatical concepts in this lesson, because I am positive it will make it easier for you, not only for this lesson, but with learning Spanish in general. Okay? You can understand it without, so you could ignore it and still learn it just with the examples, or you can actually learn the terminology and it will make it better. All right, our Captain Topo, El Capitán Topo. He had a poor vision as a child, still has a poor vision, but he was super insistent. He went to school, became a captain, worked as a captain. Great job, great life, everything is good, very insistent. Learned Spanish, and then he also, when he retired, he started making flying machines. He likes espresso and he likes to fly. So after being a captain, he also became an inventor. So he invented a flying machine that flies on espresso. Perfect. So he can drink espresso, fly over the cities. They look like beautiful giant jewels under him. So that's what he likes the best. All right, let's see this tense now. El pretérito perfecto de subjuntivo, it's called in Spanish, and I suggest you learn that name. And it's called in English the perfect subjunctive. In order to successfully take full advantage of this lesson, I suggest that you are comfortable with these terms. And these terms are the subjunctive mode, because it is not the tense but the mode. The present perfect, it is the tense. And both of these concepts are present on my YouTube channel, so just watch those videos before proceeding with the perfect subjunctive. I think it will be better. If you're not comfortable with the concept of the subjunctive mode or the present perfect, you might view those videos before. Then you need the concept of the past participle. We'll talk about that. That is the third form of the, verb, as eaten, painted, seen, gone, been, and so forth. And the auxiliary verb, sometimes called helper verb, but its name is auxiliary verb. For example, I have eaten. That have has nothing to do with the possession, but it is the auxiliary verb. So these concepts need to be reviewed before the proceeding with the perfect subjunctive. All right, so the auxiliary verb in English is to have. You know that, right? To have. Apart from the possession, I have two cats, I have a bicycle, it deals with the auxiliary verb formation. I have eaten, I have seen, I have learned. So in Spanish, the role of that auxiliary verb plays the verb haber. And here is this verb haber. And you already have seen it when you were dealing with the present perfect. Yeah, I have seen, I have been. So this is the table, and you remember these ones, and if you don't remember, review them, because it was I have done something, you, he, she, you, sir, you, madam, we, you, plural in Spain, you, plural, and they elsewhere. All right? So we're not going to deal with it, but you need to review it, because the next table of the subjunctive auxiliary verb will be very similar to it, okay? So you are going to see it, and it's right here, and it's similar, and if you review it, it will help you a lot. So it is haya, hayas, haya, hayamos, hayáis, hayan. Yeah? So these are the conjugation of the auxiliary verb haber in the subjunctive mode. All right. So here, what you need in order to create the perfect subjunctive, you have these conjugations of the auxiliary verb that you learn by heart, right? And then you will need also the trigger that makes subjunctive to be necessary. You need que that joins two parts of the sentence. You need the auxiliary verb conjugated according to the subject, haber. And you need the past participle, the third form of the verb. So, for example, here you have espero que hayas aprendido. I hope you learned. So you have the trigger right here, espero, which is the trigger. You have que, which joins two parts of the sentence. You have hayas, which is the auxiliary verb haber conjugated according to the to, and I didn't use to because Spanish is the language of freedom. You can skip it or you can use it. And you have aprendido, and aprendido is the past participle. Yeah. So, do you remember how to form the past participle? You probably do. You have three groups of verbs in Spanish: AR, ER, and IR verbs. For this past participle, verbs that end on AR will end on ado, added to the root of the verb. And then verbs that end on AR, ER will end on ido, ido added to the root of the verb after removing AR, ER, or IR. So let's work here with the second person, the pronoun tu, which is the informal you used for friends, family, pets, people that you know, and informal situation. So you have here the triggers. Me alegro. We already have covered that. Me alegro means I'm happy, it makes me happy, emotion. You have here the trigger ellos dudan. Dudan is they have doubts. Doubt, denial, and disbelief also trigger subjunctive, because it puts you in the hypothetical reality. If you doubt something, it doesn't exist. If it doesn't exist, it's not reality. No creemos, disbelief. Again, it is the same thing. It is the trigger for subjunctive. Esperar, to hope. Again, it is the hypothetical reality. Then you use the conjugations of the auxiliary verb haber. You remember that? Right here. That is the haber. And then you have me alegro que hayas, and then you have the verb comer. So comer, you take the er out, you add ido, as we decided right here. As we decided right here. And then you have me alegro que hayas comido. This is the subjunctive part. Comido is just the third form of the verb. I am happy that you have eaten. Next one. Ellos dudan que hayas bebido. They doubt that you have drank. And again, bebido is created as the third form of the verb, the past participle of beber. Next one is, no creemos que hayas volado. Some friends told the Captain Mole that they doubt that he flew, but he did. So it is, no creemos que hayas volado. We don't believe that you have flown. Usted espera que hayas tenido éxito. You hope, you wish, that you have succeeded. Éxito means to success. So to have success, to succeed. So all of them have, if you notice, they have the triggers. All of them have que, and all of them have the past participle created either as ado or ido. For the regular verbs, there are some irregulars that need to be memorized, but otherwise it's pretty easy. All right, let's work now not with tu, but with usted, that is used in formal situations and with people that you don't know well. Me alegro, we're already not going to discuss, all of them will have the triggers, de que. Comer, me alegro que, and then which one do you choose? You choose haya. Me alegro que haya comido. Yeah? So you choose here haya comido. And then ellos dudan que beber, for usted, you will choose the same thing. So it will be haya bebido. And then you say, no creemos que hayas cantado. Or actually last time we used volar because the Captain Mole flew on his contraption that works on espresso. So you have here hayas or haya volado. Then you have usted espera que haya tenido éxito. So all of them for usted will use the same auxiliary verb, haber, and the table needs to be memorized, and then you use after that the past participle of the verb. Okay? So some of his friends, they have different reaction to the news that he actually flew, El Capitán Topo. So his friend Rabbit drinks beer, watches television, and he jumps and says, Me alegro que el topo haya volado. I am happy that the mole flew. Trigger, que, that joins two parts of the sentence, haya, auxiliary verb in the subjunctive, volado, the third form of the verb or the past participle. All elements are there. Espero que él haya usado el casco. I hope that he, optional, haya, subjunctive of the auxiliary verb, usado, past participle, el casco. And you have here el casco, it's a masculine noun, it means the helmet. So it says, I hope that he used the helmet, because it's much safer to fly when you have your helmet on. Yeah? Next one is supongo, I suppose. Again, it is a hypothetical reality, the trigger, que haya sido un éxito. I suppose it was a success. Same thing, haya, it's the subjunctive, que connects two parts of the sentence together. Sido, it's the irregular form of ser in the past participle. You need to learn the irregular verbs by heart. It is not negotiable. All right, his other friends say, es imposible que el capitán haya volado. It is impossible. He doesn't believe, disbelief. So it is a trigger. So trigger, que subjunctive of the auxiliary verb. Volado is the past participle of the verb. Es poco probable que él lo haya usado. It's unlikely that he, it, subjunctive auxiliary verb, used. It's unlikely that he used the helmet. How do we know that it's helmet? Because that's what was talked about, and it's lo, and it is a masculine singular noun. Okay? So we have here words éxito, masculine noun, casco, the helmet, and finally we have sentence here, podremos verlo cuando haya aterrizado. So the captain is still flying, and they're saying in the future, we will see him. When? Note here, the trigger is different. It's just the future. But future, by definition, is hypothetical, right? It has not happened yet. So that's why it is subjunctive. And then you use the subjunctive of the auxiliary verb and the past participle of the verb aterrizar. And aterrizar means to land, right here. Yeah? So, what do we see here? We see here that that tense, the perfect subjunctive, can be used for the completed action because he already has flown, he is flying, he already took off, it's already happened, or the action that is still going on and still projected into the future. So this one is already completed, this one is to be completed, but you need to see whether it is a hypothetical situation, and it is because he's still flying, yeah, in one of the cases. So I hope this was clear, and I hope you've learned a few things. You refreshed your knowledge of the subjunctive mode, you refreshed your knowledge of the triggers for the subjunctive, you refreshed your knowledge of the past participle and how to create it, and the auxiliary verb that is necessary to create the perfect subjunctive. So if the examples are not enough, let me know and I will record more exercise. For now, just wanted to let you know that the captain has invented a new machine for flying on espresso. Is really powerful. So maybe you could make your own sentences with the triggers no creer, not to believe, dudar, to doubt, negar, to reject or to negate, esperar, to hope, and alegrarse. So no, some of them will be doubt and disbelief, and some of them will be with the emotion. It's up to you to choose. So he says, or maybe one of his friends says, qué lástima que no haya usado el casco. What a pity that he has not wore a helmet. He actually didn't wear a helmet. Reckless Captain Topo. He was okay. Next time he is going to wear it, but so far he still is not convinced. So here you have the model that you could use for creating your own sentences. Me alegro que hayas volado en una zanahoria. I'm happy that you have flown on a carrot. Maybe his friend Rabbit would say that because he's into carrots. No creo que haya conseguido volar así. And the wolf, who is somewhat cynical and doesn't believe what he sees, he says, no creo que haya conseguido volar así. I don't believe that he managed to fly like that. Okay, so hope it was clear, hope it was enough. Make your own sentences, write to me, and ciao, pescado.